today we're going to talk about 2 Palo experiences, specifically on the Disney Wonder.
Yes?
Yeah. I always forget because we're going to talk about our experience with Palo dinner and Palo brunch. I really think that we should start out with the dinner experience first. What was your favorite? Was it the dinner or the brunch?
It's kind of tough.
I know.
Honestly, I hate to say it, but the brunch. Like,
Same.
I like the brunch because there's so much more of a variety.
Yeah.
You pay like a set amount and then you kind of can get whatever you want and as much as you want, which she told us after, which was crazy.
Oh, there is so many things that I wish I would have known before I booked a Palo brunch or a Palo dinner.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Ahead of
seriously,
time.
you're welcome, because our server was really funny, but when we went to brunch, she was like, oh yeah, like you guys get a glass of like champagne, or like it was like champagne or some type of non-alcoholic beverage like on the house, and she was like having a joke, and she was like, it's all I can afford. Like she was just being cheeky, but basically it comes with your meal, like it comes with you paying for brunch. And so for Palo dinner, it cost this much, and for Palo brunch, it cost this much.
A little space and having our romantic night, like where we can
Yeah.
actually take this all in and wow,
Yeah.
we're really on this. This is cool, elegant, little classy type situation, you know, like it's
Yeah.
always nice to have that.
Yeah, 100%.
No, you always want to just do like just a nice little getaway. I mean, why not, right? It's
Yeah.
like a once in a lifetime experience. You want to enjoy that nice little ambiance. Why not?
No, it's really true. So whenever we do Palo, we always do it on our first night. I don't know why. It was just kind of like a thing that we've like created over the years. But basically, we do it on our first night. So with Palo, there is a dress code. You do have to dress up. So their whole thing is like no flip-flops, no beach shorts. It's a very elevated experience. You have to kind of respect that in a certain capacity. So I wore a dress. I think you did like a button down with a pair of slacks. Yeah. And we actually were celebrating our anniversary on Palo. So we've been together a pretty long time. And this was actually like our anniversary cruise. We're celebrating the whole year. So this is our first of 2. First of 3 maybe. We might book another one. But this is our first of 2 cruises that we're celebrating our anniversary. So yeah, it was amazing. And we went, our server was phenomenal.
Yes.
She was top notch. That's one thing I'll say about Disney in general. Their service, it's like,
On impeccable, all that.
it's
stuff.
impeccable. Like you literally could not find a better set of people in the service industry than when you look on Disney Cruise Line or any Disney entity for that matter. The parks, restaurants, hotels, all of it.
So even before like we got to the dinner and met the server, we get in and the manager was like, oh my God, Joseph, you're here. And I was like, wait, how did you even know?
Yeah.
Like how? And he was just like, oh, it's part of the magic.
He literally
just
greeted
like,
both of us by name.
yeah, it was so
Yeah.
cool. And like that was just like impressive. And these are the little things that like make so much of a difference. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because there's so many people there. We just happen to walk in. He knows us on a first name basis.
Yeah.
Like that is impressive. And I give them props for that. Like very cool. And that just set the mood right off. And like I was like, all right, this is gonna be so cool. We get
Meanwhile, they were like packed, by the way. So he's doing this with like a line of people behind us in a full packed restaurant. Like
Yeah.
that's very impressive. Like that's crazy.
So we get in, he says hello to us, greets us in. He's like, welcome in. We're so glad to have you, blah, 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 yada, yada. And we get in and he's just like, all right, so we're going to take you to the kitchen. The kitchen's right in the middle. We're going to show you the chef. And we personally met everybody. Now, I don't know if they do this for everybody, if we were just special and cool, but
I was like asking that too, because they even gave us the whole tour around the pole as well.
Yeah.
So there's this beautiful pole in Palo, and Palo means pole in Italian for context, and they tell you like the history of the restaurant and the way it was invented and how all of this came to
went
be.
to everything, even how it was made,
They
like
even
everything.
took pictures for us of us in
Yeah.
front of the pole. We'll
It
pop
was
that
amazing.
here.
Yeah, it was so cool. And they just set like a perfect vibe. And this is also why I
Such
think
a
it was so
perfect
cool
vibe.
that we went on the first night, because it just like set such a beautiful tone
Yeah.
for the whole thing. And we got to meet the chef, we met everybody, and finally we met our server. And oh man, I was just impressed. Like it was so cool and refreshing
Yeah.
to like have that experience, you know?
It was beautiful. So she sits us down and she gives us, so our server, she like introduced herself. She said how long she had been with Disney, like her tenure. And she was like,
Yeah.
she's like, hi, my name is so-and-so. Like, I'm here to be your server today. She's like, have you been with Palo before? We're like, yes, we've been here before. And she's like, okay, I'm going to give you the highlights anyway, which I think is really helpful, especially if you haven't been on a cruise in a while. It's good to like go over the menu again. So she goes over everything. Then she talks through the pricing. So she's like, here's your a la carte menu, and these are all the options on this, and you can pick one of each of these, and they're individually priced. So a la carte is basically meaning like you can pick one and you pay the full price of an a la carte, or you can do the fixed menu and pick one from each level. So we both did fixed menu.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So we did the calamari, and that was phenomenal. We got a couple other things as well. The appetizers were just bar none amazing. We also got a bottle of wine, which was delicious. I think we ended up doing the,
Oh, I know what I got.
what was it?
The prosciutto platter type
Oh,
of thing.
yeah. So for appetizers, so she gave us the menu. We were all set to go. For appetizers, we did the calamari, and then we also did...
It was like a meat and cheese platter type
like the
situation.
charcuterie board. Charcuterie board.
Yeah.
And it was so good. And then we also did a bottle of wine as well, and it was delicious. So it was super good, just to kind of round out the experience. We did all that. And then we also did, for entrees, I think I did pasta. I don't remember what you had.
I don't honestly remember, but I
was
think it was some sort of meat.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to like not have carbs, and I was trying to like pace myself and
and like chill out.
Yeah.
And then for dessert, I did, of course, the lava cake dessert, where they pour in the beautiful like chocolate and vanilla. So it was the souffle, that's what it was, and it was so good. That again is another experience where you're really like, they immerse you in it. So they come through, they have both the chocolate and the vanilla, they open up your souffle and they pour that right inside. And when I tell you that's the most delectable thing you'll ever eat in your life, worth every calorie. Highly recommend. Even if you're on a diet, don't go to Palo if you're on a diet. It's not even worth it. Don't waste your time. So like, that's a dinner experience. Then we had the photographer come around in the dinner experience, and she took beautiful photos for us, and they were absolutely phenomenal. Even our server took a ton of pictures of us when we were there, because when you register with your Disney cruise, they'll ask you, are you celebrating something special? And we put our anniversary. So when we went there, she wrote on a plate for us in chocolate, like, happy anniversary, Lauren and Joseph, and it was just super sweet. So again, like, very much making the experience phenomenal.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about the dinner?
The food is awesome, right? But I would say also the view.
Oh my gosh, the view is amazing. You're at the aft of the ship, so you're at the back. And when you are at the back of the ship, we particularly got Palo at two really crazy parts of the cruise.
Yeah.
Because we got it when we were sailing away from Vancouver, and then, because I think our reservation was at like 4:30 or something like that. So we got it when we were literally sailing away from Vancouver, which is crazy. And then we got it on Glacier Day, which we'll talk about that in a second too.
Yeah. Yeah, the view, just the ambiance. But like, to me, I just love the service. And like, you could tell they go the extra mile. The chef even comes around, does his double check. Like, everybody does what needs to be done accordingly. It was phenomenal. Like, you always hear people raving about Palo, and like, I totally understand now. And the people that work there, you guys did a great job for sure.
Yeah, they did phenomenal. Which brings us to our next point. Typically, it's extremely hard to get Palo Brunch. We've only ever done it before one time because it's really, really hard to book. The brunch is phenomenal because for $50 a person, you literally, it's like an all-you-can-eat experience, and you get a glass of alcohol or non-alcoholic beverage. It just depends on what you're looking for that day. And the brunch is like another level. They have beautiful flatbreads. The desserts are out of this freaking world. We have a picture that will pop up in here now, but like, the brunch was phenomenal. So we're really good tippers. For us, I think that's really important. We've both, at some point in our lives, we've worked in customer service. So it's really important for us to tip nicely to people. So we gave our server, I think it was like, whatever, it was a good tip. So after we were done, we were leaving, and we just so happened to talk to the manager, David, which he was phenomenal, by the way. David, he was so good. He was so good. And so we were walking out, and I like nudged Joey like this, and I was like, ask him about brunch. And he just asked him, and he was like, he wasn't even looking at a calendar when he did this, by the way, though. So like, I really just want to say, like, I know for a fact there was 0 reservations because when we got into the brunch the next day, which we got brunch the next day, by the way, it was packed, first of all. You could tell that he very much squeezed us in. And then additionally, like, he wasn't looking at a calendar when he said yes to us.
And there's a couple of things that happened.
Yeah.
So when I asked him, I was just like, do you have any openings? I mean, I didn't say it like this. I said it differently. But I was like, do you have any openings for brunch tomorrow? And he was like, as a matter of fact, I do. And we're like, okay, cool, set. So like he made it happen. And it was interesting because as we've spoken about in other videos, when you add things to your itinerary, it pops up on the app.
Yes.
Well, it didn't pop up. And so you actually call them.
I had to go to guest services to get like a toothbrush because I had like dropped mine. Something happened with my toothbrush where I had to just go get another one. So it's like, oh, while I'm here, I'm just going to confirm my Palo reservation for earlier, like later in the day. It was like 9 a.m. when I went there. And the guy was like, I don't see your reservation. And I was like, oh my God, that's so weird. I really don't want to go and look silly. And then I was like, whatever. So then he calls the guy at Palo and he's like, hi David, this is so-and-so from guest services. And David's like, oh hi. And he's like, hi, we have Miss so-and-so here from room whatever. He's like, she's saying she has a Palo Brunch, but I don't see it on her reservation list. And he literally gives me the phone and David goes, you're all set, no big deal. And he's like, just come at 12. And I'm like, what is going on right now? So I think they were so busy because number one, it's Glacier Day on an Alaskan cruise.
Which is like the most prime time.
Prime. And we're in the aft of the ship.
Yeah.
So in our video where we put it up where it's like going through Tracy Arm, that's literally us at Palo. Like that's us sitting at Palo dinner and it's absolutely phenomenal.
He even said, he was like, honestly, this is like the perfect time to be here. This is like the best time. Yeah. This is what everybody wants to see because you're going to get the perfect view on Glacier Day at the perfect time. Like it was just perfect.
It was
all
amazing.
Around. Like,
and this is the stuff where I'm talking about, like, if you've ever done business with Disney before, where you've like stayed at one of their hotels or you've stayed at a park or you've celebrated an anniversary with them or a birthday, they just take it overboard. And like, here's the thing, like, I feel like if we like to spend a good amount of money on vacations because I think it's like about the experience at the end of the day. And we're more than willing to spend it. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, like we expect specific service and like we want to be making sure we're having a beautiful time and that like we feel good about the money we're putting out for things. And so when you sail or do anything with Disney, like their service is just so, it really is magical. Like it's beautiful. And I know we're going on about it, but I feel like if you've sailed any other cruises, which like we have, you would know the difference straight away. So it's a big difference for sure. So anywho, long story short, we get to the brunch. Our server sits us down. We have the same server because we did request her because she was so phenomenal. And she gives us the menu and she's like, there's 2 rules. Number 1, come hungry. Number 2, leave full. And that is it.
Enjoy.
She's like, now what do you want from us? And like, she literally brought us every single thing on the menu.
Yeah. Like
that was crazy. She was like, I'm not letting you guys leave unless you try everything. And we're like, okay. We were there for almost 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were at Palo for almost 4 hours and we were her last person, by the way.
Yeah.
Like she specifically made sure that we were her last couple to serve that day or last table to serve so that she can spend extra time with us. Because we had made friends with her as well. We were like chatting with her. Like she was just the sweetest person in the world. Like she was amazing. But she brought us every single dish.
And it's crazy because whenever we had talked to him or her, like they had said like, be prepared because it's going to be a couple of hours. And I'm like, how is it going to be a couple of hours of just eating? Like,
yeah, both of them said that. Yeah. Both David and our server were like, you're going to be here for a good 3-4 hours. And we're like, it's just food for a brunch. Because even for dinner, we were only there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, if that,
yeah. We really weren't there for a long time. But the brunch is extremely special. Highly recommend the Palo Brunch. My God, I couldn't even say enough about it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, if you're going to book one, definitely do that. I think also that's probably why it was so fully reserved because 1, you get all that food and you get that beautiful view. So you definitely would want to take advantage of that. And it is just food on top of food on top of food. So
it was.
Definitely come hungry and be prepared to be full.
What was your favorite, so what was your favorite appetizer? Like what would you, out of all of them, like what would you say your favorite one was?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, I kept having charcuterie boards. Like I remember that. That was something.
Their meat and cheese options, they were divine. I mean, they had everything in terms of a cured meat that you can think of, and like they were just so delicious,
Yeah.
so fresh, just so good.
They had pizza.
They had pizza.
I liked the pizza.
Fresh. They made
The
pizza fresh
was
in-house.
so good. Like that was actually, I really liked that.
Yeah,
I
the
enjoyed
pizza
that.
is phenomenal. Highly recommend the sausage pizza. It was so good.
Yeah. What about you?
My favorite, and this is actually really surprising. So our server came over and she's like, I'm going to give a dessert to you. And she's like, I don't know if you'll like it. She's like, but I really think I'm going to knock it out of the park with this. And I'm like, okay. Because I had the souffle the day before and I was like, I really don't want a souffle again. And like, we're
Switch it
not
up.
dessert people.
Yeah.
Like, we're just not. Like, but we do like a good savory situation. So she brings over this lemon cake. And it was the most delectable thing I've ever had in my life. Like, it was so good. And it has like this glaze over it, like a glazed jelly over it. And then inside it's soft with like a mousse cream, and it's a vanilla cake. And it was the most delicious dessert. And we're not even like dessert people. We don't even go with dessert like that. It was so good. And then the next thing is the pasta was actually phenomenal. I had penne pasta. I think it was just like penne pasta, just like the sauce was so fresh. You could tell that they had like grind that from like fresh tomatoes and basil, and it was just beautiful and delicious. And then actually they did a really good prosecco. They had a really good prosecco. I liked that prosecco so much. I actually bought the prosecco that they used the mimosas with when we got home because it was so good.
Yeah.
And what was the wine called that they served us there as well? We bought that too.
1942 or something. I don't even know.
Yeah,
Something
it was
like that.
so good, but we had a wine there as well, and it was delicious. But the experience at Palo, the brunch is worth every single penny. The dinner is worth every single penny. The service is out of this world. What I will say about the service, though, when you sign a check on your cruise, it's going to take 18% gratuity regardless. So, like, your bill is going to be whatever it is plus 18%. Give over the 18%. Those folks work on tips. Like, you have to make sure that you're compensating your people appropriately. Like, it's really important, not for just you, but like for them as well. Like, they're there working for a living, right?
Especially
like,
when they're going the
that.
extra mile.
100%. And they're doing these amazing things for you. Like, it's really important to do that. But yeah, it was phenomenal. Highly recommend. I would probably say that was the brunch was one of the highlights of the cruise.
Yeah.
Outside of the ports and excursions.
I think also what's so phenomenal about it is like the chef and them, they're preparing it fresh.
Oh my
so
gosh.
It's not frozen. It's not.
Every order is fresh.
Literally.
I think that's also why it takes a bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what takes the time, and it's worth it. Like I would rather have fresh, delicious, hot food. Like it's so good. It was so good. Oh man, I'm thinking about the pizza.
I know.
I should have ate more, but like I couldn't eat anymore.
Our next cruise is in less than 3 months. So we'll do another Palo excursion for you guys. We're not going to tell you which cruise yet, but we'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Highly recommend. We actually do have Palo Brunch booked for our next cruise, and we have Palo Dinner. A lot of the times when you have sailed with Disney a lot, they'll give you like these little perks where they'll open up like bookings for you sooner, which is really nice. It's probably the best thing about sailing with them often. So you can get what you want to do, but it's so good. I could not recommend it enough. I would say if you don't have a reservation and for some reason you can't get one, weasel your way in. Work your magic, like get a reservation. It's worth it. Like figure out.
Waiting list.
Has to be on the waiting list. Like you have to get in and do a Palo Brunch or dinner. Both are amazing. Both are very special. It's just so good. So yeah, that's our review.
Peace.